So hello everybody, welcome to stage 48 of the New York Fire Truck. This is stage 48. This is the rear right light cluster and accessories. Right, let's turn the mic on first. I just started speaking with no mic. So this is stage 48. Now, what's happening here? So I've just noticed in this bag there is a little washer. Right, I'm going to keep an eye on that. Sorry guys, I don't know what that's from. Right, sorry. Right, so first of all, in the last issue, we put this together. And it went together rather well, apart from the little breakage there, which I was able to repair. One thing I didn't notice until after I'd made the video was this little reflector there. It did, where I was rolling it, I did snap it off and I didn't notice. Now I've got away with it because I've glued it back on, and as you can see, it's fine. And I have done it in the right angle, because I can see from the part that I'm going to get this issue. There's another one on the other side that's about the same angle. So I have got away with that, but obviously it would be much easier. So what probably I would have been a better idea was to make some kind of bracket, maybe out of boxes, 2 boxes, and I could perhaps have put a rest there and there, so that when it goes on the ground, you can see that that bit isn't actually touching the surface. I had the cloth so that I didn't scrape it, but I forgot about the sticky out parts. So if you haven't done issue 47 yet, be aware of that. So that's going to go there back on in its resting place. So let's start with the parts checklist. And I do apologise about the lighting, I just can't seem to get it right today. So stage 48, there's quite a few parts in this issue. Lots of little fiddly parts, and I suspect we've seen most of these before, and this is all, I do like the way that they're building things up slowly. So first part we've got is a fire extinguisher, and this is what I mean by we're working on the light cluster, but they just chuck in a few little accessories for us, and they're going to build those accessories up over time. So we have a rear spotlight. I think we've done one of these before. And then we've got 3 lenses. Now, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. They're very hard to see because they're made of clear plastic, acrylic. But they're basically a lens with a little post on them. Again, even there you can't see them too well. So be aware that they're there. Probably don't want to put them on a white background. Next we have another pickaxe. I know we've seen some of these. And again, these are the small accessories that we're building up over time. And by the time we've finished the whole build, we'll have lots of small accessories. So that was a worry. I think, again, I didn't see that part. Right, it's okay, I'm fine. Oh, I'll explain in a moment. So, as I opened this bag, these parts came out, and these are LED diffusers. And I heard one hit the ground, and I was worried that I'd lost one. And I looked at this, and I thought there's 4 lights, but there's only actually 3. So 3 LED diffusers. Again, they're clear. So, and it would have been a shame because I believe we can get replacement parts from Agora, but if it's my error, they will charge me, I think, £10 per issue. And to have to pay £10 because that's all I lost would be a real shame. So I'm really happy that I didn't lose that. So this is the rear right light cluster. Again, nothing we haven't seen before. And I'm not going to take these out. But what we have here is the light lenses. Now we've got one clear one, we've got two red, and we've got one orange. So obviously we've got brake lights, rear lights, indicators, and a reverse light. That's a guess. There might be a fog lamp, I don't know. But I suspect there's a brake light and a main light. And then we've got the light cluster PCB. Again, nothing we've never seen before. I'll get that out of the bag when we need it. And I've already put this in the container, a single M-type screw. So we begin with the light lenses. So we need to take the light cluster and we need to take the light lenses, and we need to put them in a certain order, and we need to put one red one at the top. Sorry if you can't see this. We need to put the orange one down next. We then put the clear one and we put the red one at the bottom. Now, the question is, yes, so very, very hard to see, but that orange one has an indicator, an arrow on it, which will come up. We'll do that in a moment. So, step 2, the rear lights function as follows from the bottom up. LED is the red is the warning light. The clear LED is the reversing. The amber is the arrow signal, and the top is the brake tail light. So the brake and the rear light is actually the same one. Now they call this a warning light. I think we would call that a fog lamp. So obviously if you're driving around in the fog, you have that extra light on, which is a little bit brighter. So next thing that we need to do, we need to actually put those bulbs in. So we'll have a little look, see if they go in okay. There's 2 little pegs on each of these bulbs, and we'll see if they're a good fit or not. No, they're not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my cocktail stick and I'm going to get a little bit of glue, and what I'm going to do is on the 2 little holes in the light cluster, I'm going to take my glasses off, I can't see. I'm going to pop a little bit of glue in there and a little bit of glue in the other one, like so, and then we'll pop that light cluster light lens in, and hopefully that will hold. That's definitely holding. There we go. So the next one we need to do is the orange, and the orange one we need to, that is directional. It's the only one that needs to be put in a certain way, and I've actually done this upside down. It should be this way round. So thankfully the red bulb is top and bottom. So let's do the red one at the top next. And then we'll just go through what I did wrong. So, right, so there we go. So where I just went wrong, see this little reflector? That needs to be poking out to the right. It's going on the right, so it needs to poke out to the right. When we had the left one, it poked out to the left. So as a result of that, I almost got my bulbs muddled up. However, because the top and the bottom ones are the same, I got away with it. So I think what I'll do now is I'll do the clear one next, because that's not directional. So we get the easy one done first. It really doesn't matter which way round this goes in, so long as it goes in. And that's in perfect. Excuse me. So there's 3 of my bulbs in. So the next one, we have this orange one. As I said, it's got an arrow on it. Now, I'm really struggling to see this. Right, so that is the wrong way round. It needs to go that way. See, I need the glasses to see me monitor. Right, so can you see that arrow? Can you see that it's pointing to the right? Very, very hard to see, but it needs to be pointing that way, and I've now let go of it and it's dropped a bit, so I've got to find that direction again. I wonder if there's an easy way we could mark it perhaps. Right, so I know it's pointing that way, so I'll get my glue. We'll just glue up that little hole, and this is going to be a one-shot chance because it's glue and it's super glue and it's going to stick very fast, very firm. We need to make sure this is the right way around, which is why I've positioned the lens beforehand, and this is where I find out if I've got it right or I've got it wrong. Now that's actually not gone in. Maybe I should have done a test fit. There we go, that's gone in. That's fine. So let's have a really good close-up look, and yes, I've got that absolutely correct. Can you see that the arrow is pointing in the same direction as the reflector? Perfect. Very happy with that. Right, so next up we need to turn this over and we need to pop in the 3 LED diffusers. These parts, like, you can't even see them, they're that tricky to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bottom one in, and that will show you. It's a little bit of a tough job to push in. They are a very firm fit. There we go. So can you see that that is in? I don't even know if it's in enough, I'll be honest with you. We'll push the second one in. We'll see how this second one goes in. Right, yeah, it should go all the way in. So what we'll do is we'll push this in a little bit further. Might even use a pair of tweezers. So what I'm going to do, I'm a bit worried about scratching this lens. So what I'll do is I'll get a bit of masking tape and I'll just wrap that around there. Masking tape there, and then that way it'll stop it from I just want to push that. See, that diffuser isn't in quite as far, so I've got some light tweezers, pliers, sorry. I can just apply a bit more pressure there, but because of the masking tape it's not going to scratch. That's a lot better. I don't think it's quite as good as the first one, middle one, but it's in a lot further. There we go, and then we'll pop the last one in, and this is really my kind of issue. You know, the parts, they're not like, well, there's quite a few parts actually, but it's quite a tricky build. We haven't even got the screwdriver out yet. There we go, that's gone in. So those 2 top diffusers for me have gone in fine. Right, so next we need to add in this what do you call it? The circuit board. So lower the light cluster PCB over the LED diffusers. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to completely rely on the colours of the wires and the orientation of the light cluster. So what I can see is the colours are going black, yellow, red, green. So that suggests to me that that's the direction of it. Can you see I've got the black at the bottom, I've got this reflector coming out towards me, and then in fact actually even easier, you've got a little hole in the PCB just there. Focus. And that hole lines up with the little peg there. So forget the colours. Just place it on like that. So that's, I'm guessing that's going to be a screw hole. We only got the one screw, didn't we? So let's see what stage 5 brings us. So stage 5 says to secure the PCB in place with a type M screw. which as soon as I saw that screw hole, I thought, yeah, that's what it is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place this screw into the PCB like so. I'm going to hold the whole thing on the screwdriver, and we'll bring the light cluster. I can't remember how I did this before. So a little light screw, just enough to bite. Like you can see, the PCB is still maneuverable. And then these are these new kind of LEDs. You can't really see the bulb very well. So it's a case of you're not pushing the bulb into the diffusers, you're actually placing it over the top. So I'm going to hold that roughly in place. I'm going to give that about half a screw just until it starts getting a bit closer. I just want to keep this maneuvering from maneuvering. So just be careful. Right, so it's now starting to grip. So make sure they're in place. I think maybe those light clusters want to be higher up, because they're not touching. So I wonder if there might be a bit of light bleed. I don't know enough about electronics, but what I do know is you don't want to screw that screw too tight, because those PCBs are very brittle. So let's have a look. So the bulbs are over the diffusers. I think I'm going to lift those up a little bit. So I need something very thin. Don't know what that is. So I'm going to use the back of a blade. So be very careful, guys. I'm just going to lift those diffusers out of the socket just a little bit. They're not going to come without breaking. Right, there we go. Just, I think there might be a little bit of light bleed otherwise, but I think that's okay. So let's have a really good close look. Can we get a focus? So we've got the PCB on the only way it'll go. We've got the light cluster. Right, so next we want to pop this light cluster into the actual fire truck. So I'm going to work, I need to bring this part back, and we need to make this side look like that side. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to follow my advice from earlier. I'm going to place it on here like so. So what we need to do is take our wire and just straighten it out. It's a little bit kinked where it's been folded in transit, and we're going to take this yellow wire, I'm going to thread it through there, and then we're going to push it down into that hole. Can you see that hole there? It should go. There we go, it does go. And we're going to just gently feed that through. You probably want to push this wire in and then pull, rather than pull it all. It's quite stiff. So if we feed that wire in like so, and then we can pull this wire down through there like that, and then we can now just twist it so it's all orientated correctly. And this is going to be, let me have a look, pull the cable through as far as it'll go until the PCB is held against the rear panel. Push the light cluster firmly into place so it sits flush. So that's not wanting to go. There it is, that's gone. It's a little bit of resistance, but it will go. There we go. 2 light clusters. So we'll let's neaten these wires up a little bit. So that's going to come in, I guess, like that. And we've got more to do. So that's our light cluster. So again, can you see how all of this is starting to hold each other in? We have got another panel here coming at some point in the future, and can you see you've got two holes there, and this has got 2 pegs in, so you can see that this is going to come in and that's going to hold, but I'm not going to put this on until it tells us to. So that's that done. Oh, I need to pull more of this wire through, don't I? So let's pull that tightly. Now don't worry about that wire. I was a bit worried on the last panel, but if you look, right, that's flush there, but can you see there's a gap there? So that cupboard is actually there. That gives us about this much room for the wire. I have just noticed that, there we go, that's a lot better. So what's going to happen is when this cupboard comes in, see, they just push that wire down there right into that corner, and then the cupboard's going to come to about there. It just gives you a little bit of room for that wire. So don't panic about that, it's not going to crush the cables. Right, so let's move on to the next stage. Otherwise I'll be talking all day about stuff that's not really relevant. So we need to take the rear spotlight unit and the 3 lenses. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these impossible to see lenses, and we're going to pop each one into there. And I'm not going to take any chances. Do you know what I had? Oh, this is a bit awkward, isn't it? I had some glue on a little piece of plastic which has disappeared, which usually means I've stuck my arm in it and it's stuck to me. Oh, never mind. Right, so I'll make another one, but I just wonder where that's gone. So that's going to be an adventure finding that, isn't it? So a little bit more glue, and I mean, it says in here, or it actually says apply a little bit of PVA glue. So I'll tell you what, let's do the job properly. Let's apply it with PVA glue. Now, I have this, which I bought from Smith's Beads. This is set up for diamond painting, but what it is, it's just PVA glue, and it's just in a handy, convenient bottle. In fact, I won't even need to pour any out onto plastic. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dip just the very end into there, and this is nice thick PVA, which I've just dropped. Right, there we go. Now the great thing about PVA glue, it's one of these have a little panic moment, because you probably see, you might be able to see in there, it's a little bit cloudy. And that's from the PVA, because the PVA is white. However, it dries clear, and this is a really good glue, for the reason being that when you deal with clear parts, if you put them in with super glue, the fumes from the super glue can sometimes make the plastic go cloudy. If you're the same as me and you put a bit of super glue onto a piece of plastic, you'll notice that when it dries, you get this white chalky. That's kind of from the fumes. Now, PVA is not as strong as super glue, but it will hold that well enough. Once that, I mean, I'll be able to get that. Let me show you how weak super glue, PVA glue is when it's wet. So we'll put a little bit of glue on this cocktail stick, and then we'll stick it to the plastic, and you'll see that it's really not that strong. That is going to fall off in a minute. There you see. So you can see it's really trying to stick. However, when it dries, it will hold that. But the difference between this super glue and this, if I stuck a cocktail stick on with super glue, the super glue is stronger, and it will probably do damage to the cocktail stick, but it is strong enough for this job. It's all about picking the correct glue for each job. So it's strong enough, and it will not cloud those lenses. But as you can see from that middle one, I don't know if you can see it, I've applied what I would consider a little bit too much glue, and it's white. but that will dry clear, and you'll see that in a future episode. Right, so lastly, so we have this bit. Do you remember we're doing a little bit of a collection of tools? So we need to take our pike, and what we're going to do is we are going to slide the end of the pike into there. You see that we've got the hole there, and we've got a little clip there. We're just going to slide that pike into there, and we'll clip that down. So now we have got, is that going to go in? There we go, that's in. So we've got, well, that's more of an axe type thing, whereas these two are more what I would call pikes, because this has got like a pointy end and a round end. This is just more like a hammer. So would you call that a pike? But obviously this is the bit in the middle, and this is where the guys will just grab. You notice there's 2 pointing that way and 2 pointing that way. So obviously the guys that come out this side, they can just grab those, and the guys that come out this side can grab those, and away they go. And it's all about setting the tools up so that people can, everything's usable. Right, so we've got one more thing to do, and we need to place a fire extinguisher inside the tool compartment from stage 43, which is this one. And as you see, we already have a fire extinguisher in there, so that tells us it's the right one. Now this is going to be fiddly. If you thought the last one was fiddly, this is probably going to be more fiddly, because there's now less manoeuvring space. So I'm just going to grab some tweezers. I'm not even going to argue. Let's grab those tweezers, and that's going to help us a lot. And then that just enables me to just find where those pegs are, hold the fire extinguisher, remove the tweezers, and then if I've got it right, which it looks like I haven't, there we go. Right, as long as those two pegs are lined up, they'll go through. Now you'll notice, I didn't notice this until I pushed it through, to be honest with you, one peg is bigger than the other, but on the other side it's the other way round. So although those fire extinguishers look the same, they are in fact different. It's the pegs that are different. But we now have two fire extinguishers in the fast pack. What have we got in the fast pack, one and the other one? This one. That's how I can't remember. It's been so long. Ah, we've got the switch and the fire extinguisher. So we now know where this is going to go, don't we? That's going to go in there. So we're getting there. We're getting these storage containers. Right, so we have another job to do. So we now need to take the side of this, place it on its side. Sorry, you've got a accidental sneak preview of future issue. Right, so that very same storage container, that needs to go in this end one, and you see it says fast pack on it. If you flip it over, you'll see this is the fast pack one on this side, and all we're going to do, should go in. Why is that not going in? Oh no, that's in. That is in. Right, so there we have the container with two fire extinguishers. Is that in? I don't think that's in. Let me give that a firmer push. There we go. I didn't quite push it in enough. Right, so there is one container in. I'm really frightened to let go of this because I've got these reflectors on each side. Let's see if we've got any more. We've got more to do. So let's have a look through the parts. Right, so this one is the one you've got to be careful of. We have this small box and it actually pulls downwards. Now the reason we know it's this way round is if you look at the handle, they're a teardrop shape and the little pointy bit always goes down. Yeah, always points downwards, that this one pulls down. So we need to put that one in so that it pulls down, and I would probably put it in like that. So we know that that's ready. Shut the door, and then we can push that in, because it's going to be really, really difficult to get out once it's in. And then we have another box to put in, which is not this one, because the next one hasn't got the fire written on it. So it must be this box. And again, the teardrop is pointing downwards, and you can see it's a good fit, and also the pattern matches. So we'll push that one in. Is that going to go? That isn't going to go. Oh no. Right. Doesn't want to fit. Doesn't want to fit. Saying that is, and you can see it's not level, look, so it wants to go in a little bit more. So can I get this shelf out? I think it's just reached the point of no return. Right, I don't want to pull it out because I might pull. Try a bit of a naughty trick. I'm trying to use this to pull it in, but all I've done is damage my tweezers. I have a feeling, because there's holes there, it is important to get that right in. Right. I don't really want to pull this out, because the only way I can pull it out is using the doors. And if I pull it out with the doors, it could damage the doors. Right. I don't really want to do this either. And there's no way to dry fit this either, is there? I think it's those little lugs there. I think they're sticking out just a bit too much. If I can push it out from the behind. It's definitely lining up at the back. Oh! See, it's the holding of this, because I've got those two reflectors. Although saying that, I can put it down on the ground. That's okay. It's rolling it over on its side. That's not good. Right, so see, if I can get it out, I can figure out, I know what's wrong with it. It's, you've got two little tabs. Okay, that's just pushed itself out. Yeah, that's just pushed itself out. Right, listen, I'm going to go with that because, oh, actually I could use these pliers, couldn't I? These are a little bit tougher. Right, so you see, you've got to push it in enough that those holes have got to line up, and they're not quite lined up. Oh, that's done it. That's done it. Look at that. They're all lined up now without damaging this. Perfect, perfect. Right, so that's that cupboard in. So we know there's one more cupboard to go, which is... Oh, there isn't another cupboard to go. We're not going to be putting this front one in yet. Right, so what we need to do now is this back piece, front piece. So we need to take this, take the rear body section front panel from stage 30, line it up with the end of the box frame and compartment frames as shown. That looks a little bit loose. Press firmly press the two pairs of lugs on the inner side. So we've got a pair of lugs there and a pair of lugs there. They're going to line up as we just saw earlier on there. And we've also got two holes there which are going to go through there. And that's going to go on. There's our first one on. I don't know if you heard the click. And the second one pushes the first one out. There we go, that's on. So there we go, that's the near the front. So that, can you see now that that's holding these panels on? So I think it was overkill. You see that that comes round there. This set of ladders comes round there, which then also holds this in, and that's held in there. So this is probably as firm as it's ever going to be. That's not coming out. So, whew, this is hard work. And that is the stage complete. So they have placed it. That's interesting. Right, I think I've missed a stage out because they're showing this firebox in place. So fast park. Right, so we put that one in, then we put this one in, then we put this one in, then we put this on, and then it shows a picture of it complete with this one on, which is very odd. So I'm going to put this image, there we go. Sorry guys, I didn't read the instructions. So this image shows the rear cupboard from stage 45 in place, but this will be installed after the emergency lights or after the emergency lights are in place in the next stage. So this is this stage then, although it's showing it with that in place in the magazine. It's also showing us this, which obviously that's only changed in the form of one plug. And it's also showing us these emergency spotlights. Now these emergency spotlights I'm going to pop into a bag like so, and they're going to go into my... That's going down now, isn't it? So, whew, yes, right, that's stage 48 complete, which means there is technically only one stage left in this pack, which is stage 49, rear beacon lights and roof section. And I can see, bit of a spoiler for you. Do you remember I said in the last issue that we've got the circuit board and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plugs left over, and here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 plugs. Guess what guys, from next issue you'll find out what that last plug is. So stage 49 next, rear beacon lights and roof section. So thank you very much for watching guys, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next issue.